Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Tales from the Inside, where comics from around the country come and spill their guts. Now, would you please welcome our special guest for this week, Kendra Dawsey.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining in, watching us today. So today we have a good number of, thank you. Thanks, everyone. So today we have a good number of comedians telling stories, given a theme. That theme today is the unknown. So there's a lot of things we don't know right now, right? I don't know what my dinner's gonna be. I don't know what's the deal with the economy. I don't even know if my bedroom furniture is going to fit into my new apartment. There's a lot that I just don't know. But I'll talk about some specific instances of not knowing things. There was a time where, now the job market's uncertain, definitely. And I think that has been a reoccurring theme throughout my life in certain job markets. Right when I went to college, the job market was uncertain. Right, about a year ago, everyone's like, there might be a recession happening. Now it's full blown. It's gonna happen. There's a part of me that is just really frustrated with the prospect of, or not prospect, but with the dance of getting the job, right? The job interview, telling people what you think about they expect you to have good answers, obviously, and definitely interviews are an important part of the process. But whenever an interviewer asks me something what made you decide to get interview for this job, or what makes you interested in this job? The real response to me is always, I need money to buy food. That's it. That is what makes me interested in any position. I need money to buy food. Then they ask stuff in 5 years, where do you see yourself? I will still need money to buy food. Nothing's going to change in 5 years. Tell us about a time where you overcame an obstacle and how you overcame it, Well, there's this one time I really wanted pizza. So I learned to look for jobs because I had no money. I don't really know what else to say when people do ask about stuff like that, jobs and stuff like that. It's really annoying to me. Other things are unknown, just the future of this country. I feel that's pretty unknown. I am very tired of living through a historically relevant event, to be quite honest. It is tiring. It is not my favorite. I have stuff to do other than save the country, right? I can't believe this country is I feel Kevin Costner's films are going to be a reoccurring theme for America in the next 10 years. So first there's Waterworld, right? Where the entire world is just covered in water, and then everyone has cool motorboats and stuff. That's one vision of America. And then there's The Postman, also starring Kevin Costner, where a postal service worker just saves the country. Both of these things are very, very real nowadays. So it's two potentials, right? I always thought I would be a huge badass during times of when civil unrest, you read about stuff like this in books, and you read and when you're 12 years old or in 7th grade, you're oh yeah, man, I know things were hard in Nazi Germany, but I would punch a Nazi. I do it for my country. RIP to Nazi Germany, but I'm different, and it's funny because I'm oh, I'd punch a Nazi, whatever. I've never been in a fight in my life. The only fights I have been in was me politely asking my friends to hit me, and then they would, and then I would realize it would hurt and ask them to stop, right? That. Those are my fights. But I'm still oh, I could fight some Nazis. Yeah, I could do this. I'm different. I got this. But so far what I've been doing, my action in these times is really frantically scrolling through Twitter and refreshing it while eating ice cream for 4 hours straight. That's what I've been doing. That's how I've been processing. And that's my role in the revolution. All right. Yeah, that is, yeah. So those are some things that have been going on with me in this world of unknowns. But I'm going to start introducing some of our storytellers for this evening. I'm very excited to bring up this next storyteller. She is hilarious. Back in the pre-COVID days, she ran an excellent room called Playoffs in Billerica. I think I said that right. I'm not from Massachusetts. I'm so sorry. One unknown is how to pronounce that town name to me. But everyone, please give it up for Emily Main Ford.
Woo!
Woo!
Wow. Hello, hello. Yeah, kind of right. It's Bill Ricka, but
Sorry.
I'm also, don't be sorry at all. Everyone always thinks I'm from Bill Ricka, but I'm definitely not. I'm from New Hampshire. It's not much better in terms of back of the woods type of thing. Good times. Yeah, all right. This is fun already, you guys. This is great. So my story all started at a lunch table, something that really doesn't exist these days. Having lunch with friends, coworkers, the good old days. Now I just kind of talk to my fingers. I put some smiley faces on them usually, and we have lunch together. But back in the day, you had real friends, real ones, real life to life. And one day we were at work eating, and someone dropped a fork. Just dropped a fork in the middle of the lunchroom, and I looked over and saw the fork. And as an obnoxious comic, as we all are on this call probably, I thought of a joke that wasn't funny, only funny to me. But the joke was, there's a fork in the road. Which way are you going to go? Yeah, it's so. I could have just left it at that, saying the joke once to the three people that were at the table with me, but I didn't. It actually went on for about a half hour of every single person that passed by. I'd point at the fork and tell everyone the same joke. I'd ask them, tell them that there was a fork in the road and which way were they going to go. Most people didn't respond very well to this. I think one person laughed. Um, yeah, but one person responded quite badly. She got so angry about it, just about the fact that I was making such a terrible joke. And I decided that, I would really take that to the next level and just make my whole entire job for the next 2 years about forks and hers as well. You know, it started with just small things, small things. Like whenever we'd all be talking about things for the first few weeks, I would just, bring up forks. You know, someone's like, me and my boyfriend were spooning last night. I'd be like, oh, well, where's there a fork there? We didn't actually talk about spooning at work. I don't know. But stuff like that, just when spooning was brought up. But yeah, I would just bring up forks at any chance I got just because she would get so hilariously angry and it was just amazing to watch. Um, because honestly, I think of myself as everyone's uncle that they don't want to have, but they do. You know, that makes Christmas better and worse because it gives you something to talk about after. uh, but yeah, so it started for a few weeks. I would just bring up forks, and then I took it to the next level where I would start grabbing an extra fork. Like if I went to the kitchen or if I went somewhere, I'd grab a fork, walk by her desk, drop the fork, and then just say her name, and she'd look over, and there would be a fork on the ground. It got so like what I would do is I'd kind of like drop a few one week and then just back off for about a couple months and just, because she'd start to think that I was over this stupid joke. But I wasn't. I never, I never was. I did a lot of fork lifting at this job. I did. I really didn't stop. Yeah. So I just kept. One day, actually, like after a few months that I had stopped, I printed out a bunch of forks off of Google Images, and I taped all the forks to. I taped one underneath her keyboard. I taped one underneath her mouse. I taped one. I actually don't even remember where some of them were taped. So that is the unknown of this story. I bet even when people, because neither of us even work at this company anymore, and I bet when they were cleaning out her desk, they probably found some forks. Honestly. But so this went on for a while, and I had stopped with the joke eventually. It had been, I think, like 3 or 4 months. And in those 3 or 4 months, everyone thought, that I was just done with the joke. Like, it's not that funny, Emily. Just stop. And of course, I wasn't done. What I was doing in those few months is I was searching the internet for the perfect fork. I ended up spending $30 on a golden fork that I actually had shipped to the office in her name. And so the day that it came, I actually was in fork cahoots with the person that worked at the front desk. Told her about the situation. She was in on it. And I was like, all right, you have to just like tell her at lunchtime so that we all can see this reaction. So the person that worked at the front desk told her she had a package, and my coworker sits up and she's like, oh my god, I have a package, I'm so excited. Like, I think maybe thinking her boyfriend sent her something, or maybe a family member. It's exciting to get a package. So she goes downstairs, grabs the package, comes back up, and opens the package. And at first she doesn't even think that I would do something to this level and extent. Opens the package and just goes, like, who would send me a fork? And then just looks at me and is like, are you kidding? What? Like, you really, yeah. So she still has the fork to this day. I can't confirm if she uses it, but for fork's sake, I hope she does, honestly. Yeah, fork, yeah. But yeah. And then also one thing that did happen as well is somebody else had started at the company, and he tried to take my joke by like getting her a giant fork, like one of those like really big ones that you hang up places. And then I stopped the joke because it wasn't funny anymore. Yeah. But that's it. And yeah, the unknown is just, I honestly don't know if she found all the forks. I really don't. I actually have a video of her, because we used to play ping pong at work, and I have a video of her like picking up the paddle and not even noticing that a fork was printed on it, and she walked all the way there with it. But yeah, that's it. Back to you, Kendra.
Thank you so much, Emily. Let's give it up for Emily. I have never heard so many fork puns in rapid succession, I must say. Yeah. I feel like I was watching an episode of The Good Place, like with the
Yeah.
You just actually wanted to say fuck over and over again.
I think everyone needs to like go home and get spooned. I don't know. Everyone's home though.
What about getting knifed? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it depends. As long as you have consent, I think it's fine to get.
As long as you have consent to be stabbed, you're right.
It's fine. If the other, like, but you should probably avoid it, I guess.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like, I guess if you want to do it, but usually it doesn't result in good health.
Maybe a plastic knife.
Exactly. Maybe a plastic knife. It's like a coronavirus party. Like, technically you have the right to do it, but like, is it really a good idea? Yeah, exactly. Not the greatest, not the best. All right. So next we have coming up, we have Ish Gupta. So he hails all the way from Connecticut. We have a lot of people from a lot of different places today. And he is a regular at the Comedy Underground at the Elbow Room. And yeah, and he's also a new resident of the city I lived in before I moved, New Haven. Woo! So I'll give it up for Ish Gupta.
Yeah. I'm the new Kendra of New Haven. That's why I'm here. I'm here to replace Kendra and all she did.
Yeah.
what she did. What did you do? What was your job?
In New Haven?
Can I have your job too?
Yeah, if you want.
All
Well,
right, cool. Because I don't have one. So
someone has my job actually.
fuck. Oh man. All right. It's been cool. I don't it's been an interesting few days. I lost my wallet while moving to my new apartment, which should have fucked me over financially. But then I realized that the Chipotle mobile app remembers your credit card number, so I can eat now. That's cool. That's been a good time. Did everybody have a good day? I can't see anybody who's watching this, but did you guys have a good day?
I had a good day, Ish.
Other than that, I feel like I had a good day. Other than that, my low point wasn't bad, you know, because other than that, like my low point was just I was driving and a rapper that I was listening to used a police siren in like one of their songs. Like, does that happen to you guys? Yeah, you get like freaked out, right? And then you think you're getting pulled over, and then by the time you realize you're not getting pulled over, you've already hidden the bag of weed up your butt, and and mine's still there, and it was a fun time. I have some stories. It's a storytelling show. I have some stories about my kids. I work with kids, which is probably concerning, considering the last thing I said about weed in my butt. But I do work with children. That's a fun thing. I used to before COVID happened, I would like direct shows and stuff, and that landed me into some pretty interesting situations. I one time my school put on an all-white production of Mulan, which I don't know if oh god, there's a shit. I'm sorry, Cynthia. Always do this in front of you.
It's fine. It's not like you put the production on personally.
That's true. I didn't put it on, and I did not support it, even though I got paid from it. But it was weird. It was weird because it was just it's a weird show to do with all white. You don't they played Mushu, like a white girl was playing Mushu. That's a white girl. It's playing a black guy playing a Chinese dragon. So I don't even know what kind of racism that is. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. It was weird. It was weird. She put on a purple suit afterwards and did all of Raw. That was interesting. That was really just for the other comics here. So I'm glad that you appreciated that. Kids do weird things. I I teach music. That's my job. And sometimes I teach my kids about like songs that I like because I think that music can teach a lesson. And I want to teach my kids about songs that I like. So I played them "Papa Was a Rolling Stone." Do you guys know that song? Everybody know that song? It's a good song, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to teach them that some moms in the world they got to do things on their own. And then I played "Dear Mama" by Tupac because they need to know that some moms smoke crack. And then I played "Sweet Home Alabama" because they need to know that some moms marry their cousins. Makes sense, right? I got in trouble actually because I played a Tupac song for them, and my administrator, who is a white lady, obviously, she got she got really mad at me for playing a Tupac song for the kids. She was like, "You shouldn't have played that. When we were kids in my day, we used to listen to better wholesome things like Jimmy Buffett." She compared Tupac to but which is no, it doesn't make sense. Tupac wrote songs about social issues like gang violence and racism, and Jimmy Buffett once wrote a song about a cheeseburger, and it wasn't even a real cheeseburger. It was a fake one. He dreamed about it. He dreamt of a cheeseburger, woke up and was like, I have something to tell the world through the art of song. It's a real song. Look it up. That's a thing. I didn't always used to teach music. I was a sub for a little bit, and when you're a sub, you don't have to really be an expert in anything. You can just kind of teach whatever as a substitute, which it doesn't make any sense at all just by itself, and then it makes even less sense when you realize you're giving someone with a music degree the responsibility to teach about slavery, because that's not something that you should do. I ended up teaching the kids about Anne Frank, which is an important lesson. But the kids didn't know anything about Anne Frank, and I mean anything about Anne Frank. I don't know if you've ever had to introduce children to the Holocaust before, but it's a pretty surreal experience because there's a period of time in your life where you don't know about bad shit, and then just somebody else has to come along and just ruin your day. That's what I had to do for them. That was it. They were planning on having a normal, just regular day as a 7-year-old, which they were just, I don't know what they were playing. They probably just eating a turkey sandwich and playing kickball. Like, I don't know, what do 7-year-olds do? That's probably all that they were doing. And then they did that. They were planning on doing that, and then I showed up and was like, hey, your normal teacher's not going to be here today. By the way, guess what happened to the Jews?
Oh my
Bye.
gosh.
That's it. That's all I did for them. That was the only thing. I just walked into their life, and then I was like, hey, you know, genocide? Here's one of their greatest hits, and then I disappeared forever. That was it. That's the only thing I did for them. I hope they're not racist now. That would be bad, because I think that's how you make and Nazis are back now, so like that might be my fault, and I never intended on doing that, but this is the America we live in, and I'm not a fan, but here we are. I didn't always used to be a teacher. I tried to be a musician at one point, but I didn't do it in the right way because I went to music school, and you don't get to do cool things when you go to music school. Like, I wanted to be in a band or some shit, and you don't really do that when you go to music school. You get weird jobs. Like, I went to music school and I got a weird job singing at funerals. Because that's a part of the economy, I guess. I didn't sing like happy music. I didn't just show up and sing like Hey Ya or something like that, or like it was sad. People were dying, or they were dead, you know, before that's how all that works. But yeah, I had to sing at funerals. One time I sang at this German guy's funeral, and the people who hired me, they were like, hey, Ish, you need to make sure you pronounce everything correctly, because we're a German family. If you don't pronounce these German words correctly, we're going to be upset. And I should have just been like, okay, but then the comedian in me kicked in and was like, we're at a funeral. You should probably be upset anyway. I'm just saying, like, I just didn't think it was going to be about me, you know. I feel like there's other things. I feel like their priorities are a little bit messed up there if they're really focusing on me at that point. It was weird. It was weird. A few weeks before that, though, I was doing stand-up. I was doing comedy in Agawam, Massachusetts, which is an interesting place. I don't think... really? For Agawam? Okay. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed, but it's a fun place. It's got the Big E, Six Flags, racism. It's not like real. It's like goofy Connecticut racism, you know, where, you know, they look at me and they're like, I didn't even know they made those. It's like that kind of racism. It's like, I don't know. I grew up amongst the whites. They're not. But I grew up among like goofy white people, not like angry white people. You know, like the whites I grew up around, they like to light fireworks off, but they like to aim them at each other. There was a tradition in my hometown, actually. This is a true story. If you were driving, if you were driving, you saw someone walking on a sidewalk, you would stick your head out the window and you would just yell the word ball sack at them. Now I do this, so that clearly everything turned out great. Where was I? I was talking about Agawam, right? I was in Agawam. I was doing comedy, and I was with my black friend, and this old white guy came up to me and my black friend after our sets, and he just started talking to my black friend about fried chicken. But I think he was trying. I don't think it was me. I think he was trying to be nice. I really do, because they had fried chicken there. I think he was trying to offer. It was just poorly timed. At least I thought he was trying to be nice, because he did that, and then he looked at me and was just like, Raja. Which I don't even know what that, but yeah, no, I don't get that. I don't know what that means. I don't even think that's an Indian thing. That's the tiger from Aladdin, as far as I'm concerned. That's all I knew. He asked me what I was afterwards, and I was drunk, so I told him I was Puerto Rican. Um, he got really scared. I've seen a lot of scared old white people in my life. I've been on airplanes. He got scared. He was like, "Oh, I got to be careful around you." And then I stabbed him, and then I sang at his funeral. So was had by all. Hey, thanks everybody. You can find me on Instagram at DoofyEesh. I'm only on Instagram. I don't like anything else. So find me on there or Tinder. I'm probably on that. So yeah. All right. I thought that was gonna get a laugh. Maybe it did get a laugh. I can't hear anybody, but it's okay. Thank you, Kendra and Comedy Studio and everybody. Have a good night and give it up for your host.
All right. Yeah. Yeesh, thank you for telling us the story of you and your one black friend in Agumon. Such a very racially diverse power. Pretty sure I know who the black friend is too.
Wait, my audio. I think my audio messed up. I missed the last.
I was just making fun.
Sorry. Oh, okay. Cool. All right.
I was just saying, like, oh, that's a cute story about you and your one black friend. Yeah. I think I know the black person. All black people know each other. I don't know if
he's a comedian, so that narrows it down even more.
So we know each other. Even in fact, we're cousins. As a black person, I know literally all like 60 million black people in the United States. I think it's 60 million. I don't even know. I know all of them. It doesn't even matter. But it's great. Yeah, thank you so much, East, for telling a few stories about your life and your being a music teacher. I also teach children occasionally. Obviously, I don't do it so much now because there's a plague. But in the times before, I did teach children, and children will really say the wildest things to you that are so like cryptic and weird. But since they're like 4, they're just like, oh, I'm being cute. There was once I was talking to a girl, and she was like, oh, like I have 2 brothers. And I was like, oh, that's great. What are your brothers' names? And she just looks at me and she's like, she says very ominously, they are called the brothers.
Confirmed demon child.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, do they have names by themselves? Like, what are their, like, do you call them names individually? I was trying to like find out their names, and then she was just like, my mommy's name is Mommy, and I was like, okay.
Oh.
She was very cute, but like not all the brain cells had been fully formed, and that's perfectly okay. I'm sure she's like a freaking rocket scientist now, even though this happened maybe 4 years ago. She's a 9-year-old rocket scientist. It's great. All right, coming up next, I'm very excited to bring your next host, or not next host, next guest. I'm the host. She hails all the way from Connecticut. Please give it up for Cynthia Wang.
Woo!
Woo! Yay! Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you to Kendra, Brett, and all of the lovely hosts for having me. So a prologue to the story. I don't know if it's really a story with a beginning, middle, and end, but the trailer is my mom pimps me out in order to get a live chicken to a 19-year-old. And we'll get there. We'll get there. But the prologue is, so I look like this. I have parents who are Chinese immigrants, and somehow they are Christian Republican Trump supporters. How did that happen, might you ask? Well, let's rewind to 1989 when my parents come to America from China and walk into a church, a Christian church, and I blame the free food at churches for this. I think that's how they lure the immigrants in, you know, like, hey, get a free meal and a support system and indoctrination. It'll be great. And then you can fuck up your kids' lives. But yeah, so then fast forward 20 some odd years later, and now they're way on the deep end, so much so that we are doing mandatory Bible study sessions every day. Like, even while I'm here in Baltimore and they're in Connecticut, we're doing virtual Bible study. But that's fun. I can get into that too, the fun parts of that, if we have time. But yeah, I feel like the problem with these super duper Christian types is they don't have a healthy outlet for their stress, like drinking or gambling or fucking around, like us normals should do, as God intended when we're stressed out. My mom's main outlets are verbally abusing my dad and negotiating. She's really good at that, and that's like her sport. So she wants to we own a little coffee shop. She wants to get some contracting work done. And I moved in with my parents for the whole pandemic, and also I'm unemployed and all of that. So be proud of me. So I'm just doing all of the work for her and arranging all these contractors for her to look at. Hey, do you like this guy? He seems pretty legit. He's got a license. Oh, no, you don't like him. You think his price is too high. Okay. Do you like this guy? He seems, pretty legit. He's got a nice website. Oh, nope, his price is too high. How about this guy? He's not licensed. He doesn't have insurance. He doesn't have a website, but his price is crazy low, and there's definitely nothing shady about him. Yes, my mom will work with any shady motherfucker to save a penny. So off to the races we go. She's intent on working with Luciano, who, if you know New Haven, maybe he's connected to the Italian mob. Hopefully that's not racist for me to say that, but we all know that the Italian mob runs New Haven. Please don't kill me. If anyone's listening and or watching this right now who might be part of it. But Luciano doesn't have a license. So of course I'm the one who has to help him get his licensure up to date. And then also he doesn't own a computer. So I'm the one who has to drop the contract that for the masonry work and the stone cutting and all the shit that we're doing on the coffee shop. And then finally, we get everything set up and we go to have a meeting to sign. And I'm thinking, okay, this will be the end of all the hard work and we're going to sign and start the work and that'll be that. Oh no, I am just setting up the tea for my mom to do what she does best, which is negotiating. We get there and I watch an Italian immigrant and a Chinese immigrant walk in circles around each other, trying to outdo each other. All of a sudden, my mom wants all this extra bullshit. She wants a fence. She wants flower pots in the driveway. And then he wants all this extra bullshit. He wants a payment schedule and guaranteed payment. I'm so glad I got drunk before this meeting because it would be very hard to sit through sober. But while we negotiate, he lets something slip. He says, I have many chickens in my farm. I have up to 30 chickens. I have live chickens. And I see my mom's eyes light up. But like a good negotiator, she doesn't say anything to him. And, after we've all hemmed and hawed and come to some kind of agreement, and we go home and prepare for round 2, I suppose. But that night at dinner, my mom's sitting down at the table and she's looking at me and David and she says, I want that live chicken. Because apparently, I think a lot of my possibly white friends in the audience, if any of them are in the audience, it's okay if you don't watch my comedy anymore, might be lost at this point because my mom runs a coffee shop, right? What does a live chicken have to do with a coffee shop? I've gotten so many interesting responses from my friends. They were like, are you going to put like a petting zoo in the back of the coffee shop? No, the chicken is, to clarify, the chicken is for eating because Yes, and my mom wants the chicken delivered to her live, so she knows that it wasn't one that fell ill and died of sickness. She wants a fresh live chicken, which she will then either kill herself or take to a butcher. I don't know. But what's the big deal? How expensive could a live chicken be? Well, apparently the chickens that are raised on a farm taste like way, 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 way better than the chickens that we get at the grocery store from factory farms. So this is like a rare find. I don't know, but that's what she feels. And I say, okay, well, I try to talk to him over the phone about the live chicken, but it doesn't really, we sign the papers. Nobody mentions the live chicken for
for a while, but I know my mom's thinking about it. And it's just like, I bet if you just brought it up with him and asked him, but I don't know. But then he's doing work on the driveway, and it turns out there's more digging that needs to be done than he thought, and there's some tree roots and this and that. So he goes to he passes the message to me that, look, it's going to be an extra $2,000 to do this extra stuff on the garage. And I just am like, are you trying to get me killed? I cannot pass on this message to her. But then I tell her, and she's all like, what? And, you know, she goes down there and she's all like, because, you know, 2,000 is impossible. They walk around in circles, and then she's talking him down on the price. And then he says, okay, I do driveway for 600, but now you don't get a live check-in for free. And he's killing me. But I can see my mom's she's acting like she won, because, you know, talking down from 2,000 to 600, again, I don't know what she did. I don't know if she promised her him hit her soul or something, but you know, that I think she should be happy with that. But I know she's really upset that she didn't get the live chicken. And then Luciano, who works with his son, that's the other thing. My mom's like, why are they charging so much? It's just him and his son. That's barely any employees. And his son, who is this very sweet kid, who wants to join the army and all this stuff, I don't know, comes up to me and says, would you like to come back to my farm and take a look at my chickens, and we can get to know each other better? And considering I don't even really know this kid, and also I wouldn't want to subject any good-natured, kind-hearted young man to any of this bullshit, I just politely decline. I don't know what I said, I'm figuring out my life. I don't know, but yeah. And then I go back to my mom, and she's all like, oh, I saw you talking to Luciano's son. What were you guys talking about? And I was like, oh, well, he asked me to come over to look at the chickens, but I think that might have been, kind of code for asking me on a date. And I just politely declined, because that seems like the right thing to do. And she was all like, what? No, you can't tell him no. You did what? And she immediately goes to the window to check on him, and is like, does he look disappointed? We can't have him working out there disappointed. And then she's like, no. You need to go back out there and tell him that you changed your mind, and that you do want to hang out with him and see those chickens. And because I'm a 27-year-old bitch ass who does whatever my mom says, at this point, that's what it's like living with my parents, because we don't exactly have the same values. So talking to them is a waste of time. So I've just shut down my entire psyche, and I just move through the house like an NPC, and like Cynthia, do the dishes. Okay, do. Grab sponge, wipe sponge on plate. Contemplate suicide. But so I, without thinking anything of it, go back to this poor kid, and I'm like, hey, I've all of a sudden changed my mind. Here's my number. And then now we're texting. And then I come back, and she's like, did you tell him that you're good to go on the date? And I was like, yes. And she's like, okay, but remember, no physical touch allowed. At this point, I know he's 19 because we've talked a little bit, which is also why I feel like this whole thing is really fucked up. But I thought, innocently enough, that maybe my mom didn't know that he was 19, and that's why she thought it might be a good idea for me to go on a date with him. But then later on, we go home, and my dad, who knows almost nothing about this, I just kind of offhand say oh, I've been texting with Vinny, that's the kid's name, and he keeps asking to hang out. And then my dad is like, are you talking about the contractor's son? And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, didn't he just graduate from high school? That is disgusting. And he says disgusting, and it kind of hits me right here, because it's like it's like, okay, well now it's not like I'm a person of dishonorable character. Let's just backpedal here. But then my mom says, no, it's fine. He's 19. She did know he was 19 the whole time, and she was trying to pit me out to get a chicken. I don't even know what her plan was. Oh God. I don't even know what her plan was. Like, did she want me to go over there, seduce him without physical touch, ask for the chicken, and then leave? Like, yeah, but I don't know, man. Parents, shit's weird. I don't know what else really to say, but if anyone has a hookup for a live chicken, let me know. And I guess there is no, what was the unknown? What would have happened if I had actually gone on the date for the chicken, I suppose. I hope that fits the theme. I'm sorry if it doesn't, but thank you guys so much for listening, and I really enjoyed being on this show. Back to you, Kendra.
Awesome. Let's keep it going for Cynthia. That was hilarious. I am so concerned about this. It's also weird that your mom was like, oh, go on this date for a chicken, but do not touch it. Like, do not get any pleasure from
Right,
this.
that's like manipulative as hell. That's like kind of fucked up.
It's like, no, just go and get the chicken and act like a girl and then come back home with my live chicken. No having fun, no appreciating it. Wow.
Yeah.
My mom will do something similar with me and my cousin for weed in foreign lands, so I understand. She'll be like, oh, flirt with this man. He probably he's listening.
Nice.
I'm like, hey, how's it going? But awesome. So coming up next, we have our final performer of the night. I'm very excited to have her here. She is full of lots of stories. She is coming to us. So she's an LA comic, but I believe right now, Connecticut's the theme of tonight. The unknown is Connecticut. All right. I believe right now she is in CT. Please give it up for Rebecca Rush.
Hi. I am in Connecticut. They fucking changed the quarantine rules while I was in the air. Like, fuck you guys. Like, seriously, they're like, yeah, if you have a test, I paid so much money to get a test because I need to make amends because I'm in AA and I can't just keep dragging the shit around. My family is like, yeah, no, we don't feel safe. You're going on a plane. And I'm like, no, you don't want to, you want me to keep being the bad guy. Like, if I make amends for what I've done wrong, then, like, you're going to have to look at yourself. Like, don't make it about COVID. I already had COVID. But I was thinking about all my stories that I told in the previous world, and I was like, I think I just would prefer to talk about shitting my pants for 10 minutes. It's not one story. Are we broadcasting this?
Yeah, it's live, I think, on the Comedy Studio website.
Oh, I see. I'm like, why are they messaging me to tell me the room is dark? I just made it very much brighter. This is not my home. I don't know what else to. Is that better?
You'll be backlit a little bit. Maybe if you. It is better though, actually. Yeah.
I turned a light on. Usually that makes things brighter. Because I shit my pants, so I didn't know like everybody else wasn't shitting their pants as an adult. Like that's a big part of my experience, and it's really sad because I'll post a diarrhea tweet and then nobody wants to like it on Twitter. It's like I don't know. You can like my diarrhea tweet. It's not gonna like give you diarrhea or COVID, but. So a few weeks ago, I went on keto because I gained so much COVID weight and I had to come home and like make amends to people. And it's like, I'm already going to acknowledge that I harmed you. Like, I don't want to do it looking like a fat COVID ass. And I backed myself into a corner where I had literally, and I almost never even eat meat, but I had no option but to do keto to lose weight really fast. And on keto, you drink like a lot of MCT oil, which is coconut. It makes me shit, is my point. I'm not used to it. And I was getting my house clean that morning because things are going well. I'm just lazy. And I was going for a walk and I had it was like I had MCT oil for the first time. And I went for like an hour-long walk. I'm on the phone with my best friend. And I got back to my apartment and there was only 2 of them, not 3 of them. They were not done with my apartment. And I'm like, I have to shit. And I like opened my door and there was just like these little ladies like scrubbing in my kitchen, and I'm like, I can't walk. I have a 1-bedroom apartment. Like, I'm not gonna walk past them and blow up my bathroom. Like, it's gonna be loud. So I like went down to the laundry room and I'm like, I'll flip my laundry. And I'm on the phone. I've got my earpods on. I'm like, I'll just hold it. And then my friend's like, you better clench your butthole, girl. And I was like, I think it's already coming. And I shit a little, but then he started laughing at me because I was shitting on the phone with him. And then I started laughing because I was like, it is happening. And did you know if you start laughing while you're shitting yourself, you will shit a fucking mega load more? And I had no idea. Sorry, that's my sponsee. He like, I don't know if he'd want me to like be the guardian of his sobriety if he knew how much I shit myself, but I had to, thank God it was a cool day in Los Angeles because I had pants on. If I had shorts on, that's another story in this stream of stories. So I had to duck walk, like I had to be like because I had a full ass diarrhea load in my pants. I had to duck walk back to my apartment, and they were still cleaning my apartment, and like I looked like I had like junk in the trunk because I did, and I had like walked past them. I closed the door between my living room and my bathroom bedroom. I closed 2 doors. I like pulled off the they had just put a liner in my bathroom trash, so I threw my pants and underpants away. Like, that's how bad. I like wrapped up the bag. I shit like 5 more humans days of shit more. I had to clean up my toilet they had just cleaned. I took a shower, and I got out of the shower with my bag of duty trash, and like they were gone. And for whatever reason, them being gone just felt so much more shameful. Like I felt like I would have felt better if they were still there when I was like, I'm all better now. I don't know. Once I sharded on the way to a job interview, and I was wearing white panties, and I felt like I deserved it because I stole them. And like, I don't want you to think I only diarrhea my pants. Like, I have full on hard shit in my pants. Like, I had to shit. I just get like, I disassociate. I used to disassociate a lot, and you're just like, you're not there. You know what I mean? Your body's got needs. You're like off some trauma zone. So all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, I'm gonna go now. Like, it brings you back into the body. So the minute I had to shit so bad, and I also do this weird thing when I'm driving where I'm like, not yet. Who has a hot mic?
Oh, it might.
Anyway, where I'll be like, not yet, don't shit yet, like, or don't pee yet, and then I'm like waiting, like I have to like, once you pass this and you pass that, then you get to go, and then I'm like so feral, like I can't face a bathroom attendant like at a gas station. I just have to like go somewhere else. But I saw the door to my house, and my body was just like relief, and I shit, and it was like I was suddenly sitting on a pile of books. Like, my head hit the ceiling in my car. But when I shit my pants, besides that story I just told, in LA, I'm sober, right? I was performing in front of my cousins for the first time in Costa Mesa. It's like an hour and a half from where I live. And I bombed, and I always bomb in front of my family. I bombed so bad that the comic after me said, don't worry, I'm not sober. And then the host gave me like $20, and my cousins think I make my living off performing. And like, I do mostly oral. So I had to pretend that $20 was a bonus on top of my real pay I get at a bar show in Costa Mesa, California. And they were like, I was so awkward, and I had to shit. But the comic who made fun of me was still on stage, and the bathroom was like past the stage, and it was all lit up. And I'm like, I cannot walk past that. I'm fucking humiliated. So I'm like, I will find an exit and shit on the way home. And then I did that thing where I kept being like, next exit, next. No, you can wait. Like, let's got a long drive. Finally, I had to pull off, and then there was like no exits for several miles. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I pulled off, like, I could not make it to a gas station. I had to pull over in some like college or something. There was like there was a lot of shrubbery. There was like one of those signs with the gold lettering, like a concrete wall thing. And I had to like turn my car around so I started shitting already, but I had to full shit behind it. And I was like, you know what? Somebody will just think that like a dog shit. And then by the time I finished shitting, I was like, I hope they have sick horses around here. And then all I had to wipe with was a receipt. And it was such a long drive home that I had dried shit all over my leg by the time I got home. But my favorite shitting story is none of those stories. I was moving to New York, and it happened in New London, Connecticut, where I am now. And I was really stressed out about finding an apartment. So I don't know if you've ever moved from Connecticut to New York, but you'll call on somebody and you'll be like, I'd like to see this apartment. You'll hop in your car to drive to New York. By the time you get to New York, they have rented that fucking apartment. And that kept happening. So one day I'm like, I'm going to take some acid and like get some answers for myself. And I was sitting at Washington Street Coffee House, which is like a wall of windows. Everybody I know, it's a small little drunk arts town. They're inside, they're outside. There was like 20 people I knew personally, like right there. And I'm on acid and I'm like holding court and I'm like, look, you guys, I spent my life being stressed about the past and worried about the future. And I'm never right now. And right now is where nothing bad is happening. And then I shit myself and I had no underwear on. And I had shit through a picnic table. I had to snatch the New London Day out of someone's hand so I could sit on it. And then I remembered I did not even drive myself. I had to beg someone who did not like me that much to give me a ride back. And I was like, I will sit on the newspaper. This person was like, I was reading that. I'm like, I am sitting on it now. All my shit stories. But am I done?
Yeah, actually you have like 20-ish seconds left, but if you want to go.
Perfect. That was 10 minutes of shit.
All right, everyone, let's keep it going for Rebecca Rush and the mysteries of her gastrointestinal tract. I'm kind of worried. Are you okay? Is your intestines okay? Do they like absorb water?
I mean, I just had acupuncture. Like, I'm good.
Okay, cool. That was such an LA thing to say, but I love it. That's great. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching tonight. That is our show for tonight. Thanks for being here. Look up all of these comedians online, all of their social media handles where they were performing, and come back next week. The show is every week, Wednesdays, same time, same place. Thank you so much for being here and have a good night.
Yay, thank you.
Ooh, pizza's here.